Have you ever had a brilliant idea in a meeting only to find it's rejected, shot down, or totally ignored? Well, if that's your situation, then this episode is for you.
Welcome to the Nils Vesk Show, where every episode is designed to help you think faster, solve problems creatively, and generate breakthrough ideas to catapult your success.
Now, the harsh truth is that when your idea gets rejected, it's not because it's necessarily a bad idea. It's rather that it just hasn't landed in the mind of a decision maker in a way that makes them feel comfortable to say the words yes. And in this episode, I'm going to share with you 3 super quick ways that you can actually make it impossible for people to ignore your brilliant ideas, and a very sneaky way to help to get your decision maker to say yes sooner for your great idea. All right, so let's get stuck into it by getting into the mindset of your decision maker and why they might be saying no rather than yes to your idea. And first up, it's really important to understand what's going through the mindset of a decision maker. And I guess a simple place to start is around the concept of what does a decision maker want. A decision maker wants to look good, feel good, be confident, get success, be sought after. These might sound a little bit crass in terms of a need, but this is sort of really one of the big things that's in the decision-making mindset of someone who might be approving your idea. At the same time of the things that they need or want, there's also things that they don't want. So some of the things that they don't want is they don't want to make mistakes, they don't want to waste time, energy, or money, and they don't want to have no idea of what's coming up. So essentially, we could say there's 3 things they're looking for. They're looking for certainty that whatever you're going to propose is going to work. They're looking for clarity in that they simply understand what you're trying to communicate and the value to you or them or the organization. And finally, they want to have confidence that they're making the right decision by approving or supporting or contributing to your idea. And when you put yourself in their shoes, if someone was to pitch an idea to you, you'd probably go, yeah, that kind of makes sense to me as well. I wouldn't want to sign off an idea that's risky, potentially dangerous, or might cost a lot of money, or we have no idea whether it's going to work. So once we're clear about that mindset, it becomes so much easier to look at how we might pitch or communicate what that idea might be. And the simplest way that we can help them to get there is to think of how do we show that we've thought of that this is a problem that's really worth solving. 2, that it is there is a market or people are willing to pay for it. And 3, that we can effectively solve the problem. Because what I've found through experience and been doing this for like 2 decades or so is that most people try and pitch the whole idea. What we're really trying to do is not necessarily get approval for here's $500,000 or $200,000 to go and make that idea a reality. No, what we're really looking for is a simple way of getting approval for the next step. And so what I always get our clients to do, whether we're running a program for them or we're mentoring them, is to get them to think of, is this a problem that is truly worth solving? Because I could have an idea for a brand new percolator in our coffee machine that's going to make it much better for our coffees. But is that really a problem that people think is worth solving? And does that kind of make sense? Hopefully that's landing with you. So if you're going to pitch your idea, go, is this going to solve a problem that's truly worth solving? So number 1. And you can get some basic data or some statistics to help back that up. And I'm not talking high tech, I'm talking like one step above the Amish. We're talking low tech stuff. It could be a simple survey that goes out that asks a question. Hey guys, I've identified a really big problem, I think, that could be costing you lots of time. I'd love to fix it, but first, can you please let us know which of the following might be the amount of time that it's costing you in your day-to-day activities? And it could be multiple choice. A is 30 minutes, B, 1 hour, C, 2 hours, 3, above 3 or 4 hours. And that way, really quickly, you can actually get some good data to justify why we should be going out there and solving this problem. Okay, so 1, is a problem worth solving? The second thing that we want to have in the back of our mind is, how could we validate that the market or other people would be willing to pay for that? So it might be going out there and asking your audience, how many people here would be, willing to give 5 minutes of their time to help us solve this problem for the XYZ thing. That's a commitment of people that are doing it. Or if we're going out to the marketplace, we could put out a fake ad that asks people, talks about a potential solution and invites them to a meetup or an event or forum where they pay to come along, or they might go to a web page which is a buy now button. So these are some simple ways we could get them to think of how we could validate it is a market and the market is willing to pay for that solution. And third, we want to then be able to say, how could we effectively show that the solution can solve the problem? And that doesn't mean going out there and building a $1 million prototype. It's about how can we effectively solve the area with the biggest uncertainty and the biggest implication. So remember how this ties back to that fear that's going through our decision maker. They're looking for confidence, clarity, and certainty. And if we can help to identify how we can do that, we're almost all of the way there. Okay, so hopefully that's framing up that really important part around the decision part. The second thing that's really important is to be clear about what we communicate. And as much as we might love our idea, chances are we're probably going to overload them with contextual information, technical information, and before you know it, their mind's switched off. They're wondering about their next meeting. They want to check their phone. They're thinking about how can I get out of this meeting as quickly as possible, because we are overloading them with information. In some ways, all we really need to be able to do is enable them to get a mental picture around what the idea is, but most importantly, how it gives an impact. So it's a problem that it solves and why that problem is so important that it's being solved. So remember how we spoke about the data. Let's say you interviewed through your survey and you came out with 200 people responded in your organization talking about a particular issue, and you worked out that the average person spending 2 hours a week on that, 400 hours a week amongst with a charge out rate of $200 an hour. That's a lot of money. So very quickly you could start off with something. Hey Lisa, Tom, Raj, thanks for joining us today. I know your time is precious, but there's a problem that we've identified that could definitely costing our organization. In fact, we've calculated that it's probably costing our organization around $200,000 a month in lost time and wages. Would it make sense, or would it be a crazy idea for me to unpack an idea that could help to solve that? Whew. No. Yeah, by all means, go ahead. So can you see by grabbing that attention quickly, they're going, yep, this is important, this is relevant, it's strategically aligned with what we need to know about, tell me more. I haven't gone anything into the details of what that idea actually might be. So it's about being clear about what we communicate versus what we don't communicate. Again, we don't necessarily have to pitch the whole thing, it's about what's that next step that we're looking for. The third thing that can be really valuable and important when we want to get more yeses is to think a little bit more subtly around the words that we use. Now, you might recall in the last little activity then, I spoke about the idea of, I said, would it be a bad idea for us to, share some ideas on how we can deal with this problem that's causing this much and it's costing us $200,000 a month? No. So what I've done there is a form of, I wouldn't call it manipulation, but rather, that's not good. Let's erase those thoughts. Rather, most people are usually used to being led by salespeople and the sort who try and get a yes response from you. So would it make sense that we have a conversation around how we can solve that? Yes. So people kind of know, here we go. They're going to try and get us to keep saying, yes, 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 and then finally say, so should we go ahead with this idea? Now, I'm sure you've experienced that before from being on the other side of a sales conversation. And rather than go with that approach, why not go a counterintuitive approach and go with the words that people are more likely to want to say? Now, here's the interesting thing. People are more willing to say no than yes because they feel comfortable saying the word no. We like to say no. I mean, my son Otto, his favorite word is nope. Hey, Otto, do you want to go for a swim? Nope. Otto, do you want to clean up? Nope. We like saying the word no. You get my drift. So when we bring this back to a conversation and a presentation, we could ask the questions that get them to say no. Say, for example, would it be a bad idea to look at ways that we can reduce or eliminate that $200,000 in expenditure because of this issue? No, not at all. So if you can start to think of questions that will elicit a no response, you actually get more momentum and more confidence and more buy-in in a counterintuitive way. So hopefully that helps to give you a few different clues around those different areas there. Now, while there are other different things that we could be talking about, I know I talk about what we call the pitching method, the perfect pitch. There are other different things, but they are 3 simple, actionable things that you can use to get people to say yes to your ideas more often, and so that your ideas are almost impossible to ignore, and people will be leaning in to find out more about what your ideas are all about. If you want to find out more, there's some things you could do. You could check out our ideamaverick.com program, a great online program to help people just like you and to become more sought out for their thinking and future-proof their career and accelerate it. We also have an incredibly valuable checklist for people who want to run a brainstorming or an idea generation session. Simply go to ideamaverick.com/checklist for your checklist to help take your career to the next time. Thanks for watching or listening, and if you like it, hey, show us some love, click that thumbs up or the heart, and we'll see you in the next episode.